The afternoon sun over Beijing was golden, shimmering through the glass dome of the Royal Lotus Convention Hall. Hundreds of journalists gathered in a storm of camera flashes, murmurs, and half-breathed speculations. For weeks, the entertainment industry had been buzzing with whispers. Were Yulong and Mei Mei really together? Were the rumors true? But no one expected what would unfold that day. When the doors finally opened, Yulong appeared first, tall, poised, in a crisp white suit. Beside him walked Mei Mei, radiant in a soft champagne gown that caught the light morning dew. The room went silent for half a second before an avalanche of flashes erupted. She smiled gently, her hand slightly trembling as he reached for it. And then, before the crowd of stunned reporters, he spoke. After years of friendship and countless rumors, he said, voice steady but emotional, "We've decided to write our next chapter together, as husband and wife." It was like the world stopped. A single moment of stunned silence shattered into chaos, gasps, cheers. Questions screamed from every direction. Cameras clicked non-stop. Phones lunged forward. And within seconds, Weibo, Douyin, and every entertainment platform across Asia exploded. The hashtag Yulong Mei Mei wedding hit 1 million mentions in less than 10 minutes. Fans screamed, cried, and reposted every image they could find. For years, the two had been the subject of speculation. Ever since their breakout drama Moonlight Blossoms in Winter aired in 2022, audiences had been enchanted by their on-screen chemistry, the quiet glances, the accidental touches, the undeniable warmth that felt too real to be acting. But both stars had always denied the rumors. In interview after interview, they insisted they were close friends, co-workers who respect each other, and yet, whispers never faded. Every sighting, every social media post, every backstage photo only fueled the fire. Now, standing together under a canopy of flashing lights, they weren't just confirming what fans had long suspected, they were rewriting the ending of every love story fans had ever imagined. Moments later, the screen behind them lit up with the official statement from Starlight Entertainment. Yulong and Mei Mei are pleased to share the news of their engagement. The couple will hold a private ceremony in Bali, Indonesia this December. They express their deepest gratitude to all who have supported them along the way. The choice of Bali wasn't a coincidence. According to a close friend, the island held a special meaning for them. It was during the filming of a travel commercial 2 years ago that Yulong reportedly confessed his feelings. They had spent a sunset evening at Iona Resort and Spa in Jimbaran Bay, the sky drenched in gold and rose, waves crashing below the cliffs. That night, she told him she didn't believe in fate. He answered softly, "Then let me prove it exists." Reporters tried to shout questions. When did the relationship begin? Who proposed first? Why now? But the couple simply smiled, bowed politely, and left the stage hand in hand. Their silence said more than any words could. At nightfall, the internet was in full meltdown. Fans across China, Korea, Japan, and Thailand flooded timelines with celebration posts. "I shipped them since day one," one fan wrote on Weibo. Another posted, "They are the fairy tale we all needed," on TikTok. Bits of their drama scenes synced to love songs hit millions of views. Even brands they represented joined the wave, luxury labels resharing congratulatory messages, jewelry houses posting heart emojis and champagne glasses. Entertainment critics called it Asia's royal engagement. Others praised their timing, a bold declaration in an industry where most stars hide behind denials and fake smiles. It was rare, almost rebellious, two megastars daring to love publicly in front of the world. Behind the excitement, however, there was also nostalgia. Longtime fans remembered their early days. Yulong, once a quiet stage actor who became an idol overnight, Mei Mei, the girl next door who transformed into one of the most sought-after actresses of her generation. Both had worked tirelessly to reach the top, often sacrificing privacy and peace for fame. And now, at the height of their careers, they had chosen love. Industry insiders began to share touching anecdotes. A director who worked with them recalled how Yulong would always wait until Mei Mei finished filming before leaving the set, no matter how late. A stylist remembered him quietly adjusting her jacket during cold outdoor shoots. He looked at her like she was the only person in the world, the stylist said. That tenderness now spilled into the public eye. During a brief backstage interview, Yulong was asked what love meant to him. He paused for a moment, then replied, "It means choosing the same person every day, even when the world tells you not to." By the second day, global media had picked up the story. Headlines across Asia screamed in bold letters, "Yulong and Mei Mei to tie the knot, a love story that defied rumors." Entertainment shows replayed the footage endlessly. Online commentators dissected every frame, the way he glanced at her, the sparkle in her eyes, the slight quiver of her lip before she smiled. It wasn't just an announcement, it was a cinematic revelation. As the frenzy grew, so did the pressure. Some fans speculated that the couple's companies had coordinated the timing, citing both stars' recent projects and brand contracts. But others rejected that notion outright. "Isn't marketing," one fan tweeted. "This is the most genuine thing we've seen in years." In the days that followed, the story evolved beyond gossip. It became a symbol, a reminder that love could still survive the glare of fame. Their engagement was celebrated not just as celebrity news. As a cultural event, people compared it to the great on-screen love stories of the past. Yulong and Mei Mei, Asia's modern legends. As the lights dimmed and the headlines cooled, rumors began to surface in private chatrooms and backstage circles. Not everyone in the industry, it seemed, was celebrating. Some insiders hinted that a few powerful figures had opposed their union, fearing it might disrupt market image strategies or shift fan demographics. Others spoke of a third voice in the background, someone close to one of them, unhappy with the decision. But for now, none of that mattered. What the world saw was simple: two people standing together, fearless and proud, in a love that had survived the spotlight. The article closes its first chapter. The image remains vivid, Yulong's hand wrapped around Mei Mei's as they walked off stage through a sea of flashing lights. The moment seemed almost surreal, frozen in time. Yet behind the applause and the glitter, a quiet question lingered like an echo. In a world built on image and illusion, how much truth can love really survive? The answer, it seems, would unfold in Bali, under the eternal sunset where their story began. The days following the announcement were a blur of lights, lines, and heart emojis. Every entertainment show replayed the moment Yulong and Mei Mei stood hand in hand under the golden lights of the Royal Lotus Hall. Their confession wasn't just news, it was a cultural earthquake. Yet, while the world celebrated their love story, a quieter, more complex reality was unfolding behind the scenes. As the media's roar began to fade, close to the couple whispered that this moment of joy had come at a cost. For months, the pair had wrestled with an impossible choice, between the expectations of fame and the authenticity of love. Management teams had advised against public confirmation of contract losses and fan backlash. Some brands even hinted they would review their partnerships if the relationship went public. But Yulong had grown tired of pretending. One insider recalled him saying, "If love has to hide, it isn't love anymore." Mei Mei, ever cautious, feared the fallout more deeply. She had built her reputation as the nation's innocent goddess, symbol of grace and purity. A public romance, especially with a male co-star, shattered that image. Yet the strain of denial was unbearable. There were days when they'd walk past each other in public, forced to act like strangers while cameras followed their every breath. Nights when she'd cry, asking, "Are we just a story we can't tell?" By autumn, they decided, no more hiding. They would announce their wedding on their own terms, at their own time. The Bali ceremony was planned in secret, every detail handpicked, every guest sworn to silence. It would be held at a resort and spa sanctuary perched above Jimbaran Bay. The theme, chosen by Mei Mei herself, eternal sunset, gold, ivory, and blush pink, would dominate the decor, reflecting the hue of their first sunset together. Only 100 guests were invited, family, lifelong friends, and a few trusted colleagues. Press would not be allowed near the grounds. The event would remain private, protected by confidentiality agreements and silent security teams. Yulong personally designed the invitations, gold embossed cards sealed with a wax stamp of intertwined initials, Y&M. The vows were to be exchanged at the Skycliff Chapel, last sanctuary overlooking the endless ocean. Ceremony would begin at twilight, when the sun melted into the horizon. "We wanted the light to fade, not the love," Mei Mei said softly in a rare interview, her voice trembling with emotion. Preparations began quietly in November. The bride's gown was designed by Zuhair Murad, masterpiece of lace and crystal embroidery inspired by ocean waves. It took more than 3 months to complete. Adorned with over 3,000 Swarovski crystals that shimmered like starlight. Yulong's tuxedo, a classic black by Tom Ford, was chosen to mirror simplicity and strength. Her rings were custom-made by Cartier, engraved with the words 2 hearts, 1 sunset. But as the countdown to December 28 began, the couple faced a new storm, not from the outside, but from within the industry itself. Rumors of discontent began to circulate. Executives were reportedly furious that the wedding date conflicted with a major film premiere. A brand contract nearly collapsed after tabloids hinted that the ceremony would be a lavish spectacle funded by sponsorships. The couple's PR team had to work day and night to contain speculation. Then came the whispers, an anonymous post on a gossip forum claiming that Yulong's former manager had unfinished business with the actor. Screenshots surfaced of alleged private conversations, painting him as manipulative and insincere. Within hours, the couple's fanbase erupted into chaos. Hashtags like "Protect Yulong and Leave Them Alone" trended across Weibo. The comments section turned into a digital battlefield. It all, Yulong stayed silent. When asked by reporters, he simply said, "The truth doesn't need to shout." Mei Mei stood by him. Though those close to her said she struggled with the mounting pressure. She's terrified something will ruin this before it begins. Friend confided. Behind the curtain, however, there were also moments of grace. In Bali, workers built a stage beneath the open sky. Rows of white orchids lined the aisle, each petal represented a wish from a fan, sent anonymously through the couple's charity foundation. The air was thick with jasmine and sea breeze. Staff whispered that the pair visited the venue quietly one night before the wedding, walking barefoot across the cliff, holding hands, their reflections shimmering in the moonlight. When the big day arrived, the island seemed to hold its breath. At sunset, guests began to gather at the Skycliff Chapel. The ocean glowed like molten gold. Mei Mei appeared in her gown, veil flowing like mist, and the crowd gasped. Yulong's eyes never left her as she walked toward him, barefoot, her smile trembling. The ceremony was intimate but cinematic. Exchanged vows they had written themselves. He promised, "No matter how loud the world becomes, we'll always hear only your voice." She replied, through tears, "Even if the sun forgets to rise, my heart will still remember your light." Officiant declared them husband and wife. Waves crashed below the cliffside. Fireworks burst above the ocean. Reflections rippling across the water. Friends cheered, champagne flowed, and music filled the night. Among the guests were fellow stars, directors, and family members who wiped tears as they watched the couple dance beneath the stars. Yet, outside that paradise, a frenzy was only growing. Paparazzi boats anchored far offshore, trying to capture glimpses of the ceremony through telephoto lenses. Within hours, blurry images leaked online, just enough to confirm the impossible beauty of it all. The next morning, Vogue China published an exclusive cover, Yulong and Mei Mei, the sunset of secrets, the dawn of forever. Came more than just a wedding, it became a statement. Against rumors. Against corporate control. Against the idea that love had to be scripted. Their story reminded millions that beneath the fame, two real hearts had dared to beat in unison. Music faded and the final firework fell into the sea. Yulong turned to his bride and whispered words no camera caught. But those close enough heard him say, "Disappear for a while. Just you and me." The next morning, the couple boarded a small yacht before sunrise, vanishing into the horizon. No one knew where they went. Some said they sailed toward a private island for their honeymoon. Others believed they simply wanted to escape, to reclaim what fame had taken from them. In the end, their love story became a legend. Not for its glamour, but for its defiance. In a world obsessed with exposure, Yulong and Mei Mei chose something rarer: silence, sincerity, and the courage to live truthfully. Waves rolled endlessly against the Bali cliffs. Locals whispered that even after the ceremony ended, lights on the Sky Chapel stayed on all night, flickering softly in the distance, like two hearts refusing to fade.